All right, we are live, live. What's up? What's up, everybody? Hope everybody's doing well. Um, Not done a market open since last week, so it's been a while. Uh, Life has been kind of crazy over the past week. Meet Kevin, is that you? Let me tweet right now that I'm live. Market open, live market open. Man, oh man, we've had quite a week. Lots of different things have happened, and well, the world has changed a lot since since I last went live. Um, Trying to load up everything right now. Wi-Fi is a little iffy. Just give it a second. It should get better. Again, I don't know why the Wi-Fi is so trash. I want the Wi-Fi to be so trash, but it's trash. I can't do anything about it. I'm sorry. Look, we're having a market rally, okay? We are having a market rally that we've never seen before. Your financial independence, what's up? Cameron, what's up? Welcome back. Welcome back. Let me also put this in my Discord because there's a couple people in my Discord that get mad whenever I don't say that I'm live. And I understand why. But I should probably tell people. I wish the Discord thing connected with YouTube. It used to do that, but now it doesn't. So weak Wi-Fi in Jersey amidst still the goat. Yeah, I'm sorry about that, guys. It's stupid. But anyway, let's get into these stonks because these stonks, goodness gracious, are up to say the least. So let me share my screen right now. The Wi-Fi will get better in a second. Tesla's a bull trap. Interesting. Tesla's a bull trap. I don't know. I think the entire market could be categorized theoretically as a pseudo bull trap, but we're going to have to see. Oh crap! I left my cowbell downstairs. Okay, shoot. You guys are gonna have to give me a minute when I get back in a second. All right, so let's look at the market right now. Things are kind of crazy. Where's the S&P? The S&P is at 411, which is insane. It's pre-market. It's 409, down just a little bit under a percent. But the S&P was at 366 on June 16th, and it was at 371. Okay, so 30 days or 15 days later, we are up about 10%, which is the greatest month the S&P has had since November 2020. I hope you guys heard that. Since November 2020, the S&P has had the best month that it's ever had. So this is a little interesting, okay? Like this is definitely interesting. S&P at 411, didn't expect that. Apple 162. That's Apple was at 129. Amazon was at 101. Now it's at 134. Let's go to our favorite Tesla. Tesla pre-market 904. It is up 1.4% in the pre-market. 904. Remember Tesla was at 630 about 3 weeks ago? So I think the question is this a freaking trap? That is the question. And that's the question that I think everyone wants to know. We're going to watch a couple of videos today to help give us some insight into this, but I would love to know what everyone else is thinking as well in the chat. This is one of those questions that's like, man, it's really scary because if you're buying Tesla at 900 because you're thinking it's going to go to 1200, well, that means we're going to have a market that we haven't had since 2021, where we had a euphoric market in the face of 9.1% inflation. Like things haven't fundamentally changed in the macro that much. Now, if things are getting better, yes. And should the market rally on that? Yes. Should the market rally to the point where they're getting, all-time highs like we were in 2021? I don't know. Starting to think it's not a trap. I agree with you, David. I am also starting to think that it's not a trap, especially because we've had a lot of nice figures come out here and say it's not a trap. Gabe, what's up? Gabe is here. Gabe also kind of predicted this. You guys know, if you guys watch my channel, that he's a character on my channel. And I mentioned many times that he thinks the market's rallying. Holy, those Tesla bull runs are impressive. Yes, they are. They absolutely are. Glitch Life, morning fam. I think we're getting a market-wide bounce for a couple weeks, possible new low, but doubt it. This is same thing that happened after the Spanish flu. Inflation went from 20% to 2 in 6 months. Well, that's a great point, Glitch Life. This is something I might even do a video on, Glitch Life. I didn't even know that stat. After the Spanish flu, if inflation went from 20% to 2 in 6 months, obviously the market's going to rally on that, right? The market's going to be incredibly happy about that. So if that's the case, if that's what's happening, and we have inflation going from 9.1 down to 4, 5 by the end of the year, which is it seems crazy to even think that could happen because we know it's not 9.1%. We know it's like 15%, right? But if it does go down on the actual metrics, then you're talking about a market that's going to rally. Absolutely a market that's going to rally on that. Let's look at some other stocks. Palantir at 10. Palantir's earnings next week. If they do well on earnings, this bad boy is going to run. If they don't do well, it's not going to run. And earnings to me means they've got the EPS is, I don't care about if they crack 500 milli next quarter. They said they're going to do 470. If they crack 500, we're in a good spot. I think we're in a really, really good spot. But like all logical intuition to me says, yes, they're going to crack it because of the governmental upside from the Ukraine-Russia stuff. But I can't sit here and guarantee that's going to happen. You know, I think maybe we can get to 485. We're definitely going to beat 470. That's going to happen. The question is if we get to the 500. I don't know if that's going to happen. Coinbase at 62. Where's Bitcoin at right now? Bitcoin also has been having a phenomenal run. 23, not bad. I think it was at 24 at one point. So Bitcoin and ETH have been doing well. Crypto's running. That means, you know, that tends to say the entire market's going to start running. Google had a phenomenal quarter, $70 billion. I mean, basically last week's earnings proved that this market is good. The resiliency of the market to be able to withstand the craziness of the macro and still put up the numbers that they put up. Facebook, 28 billion, Google, 70 billion, Apple, 83 billion, Amazon, 121 billion. Like when you put up these numbers, it's not like, it's not a joke. These are real companies doing real things. And that means the consumer is still doing pretty well in terms of demand. Markets are overbought right now, so expect a pullback or sideways chop. The low is 100% in. S&P will surpass 45, 100% before November. That is Gabe's analysis. S&P 45, 45. Now, remember, Gabe also thinks that in 2023, we're having a massive crash because he thinks we have not had a crash at all. So he thinks after we S&P the 45, 45 on the S&P, which was the last time the 2-year and 10-year inverted, which was around April 1st, then we're going to see the crash, which maybe is the case. Maybe it's not. Samuel, yo, thank you for being here. Checking price of oil, that will show the true inflation and cost of moving goods around. Yeah. I want to see the cross of oil. Brent oil price. Is oil below 90 yet? Oil's at 100. Oil's still at 100. Wow. Okay. Oil is still at 100. Okay. Yeah, last month was super euphoric. We should expect a slight pullback. Yeah. I mean, what we got last month was just incredible. The run we had last month. Spotify's at 110 pre-market. S&P passing 400, I think, was psychologically important. And we did that. And we're blowing away on the S&P. So if this keeps going, this is going to be a fun end. Could you imagine, bro? We started the year at 479 on the S&P. Now we're at 411. We got to 360, which was like, what, a 25% pullback? Almost, but not even 25%. I think it was like 20.3 or something. So analysts were saying we need a 35% pullback, a 30% pullback to have a real bear market. That would be S&P at around 34, 33. That didn't happen. We didn't get there. And now for us to go back, here's the other thing to think about. For us to go back down to 3,400 on the S&P requires a lot. Historically, July is a positive month. August, September, negative historically. That is also true. So that's another thing. Bacon Bombs, that's a great point. July is always a positive month. The other months tend to be not the best. Was there no Palantir Weekly this Friday? Yeah, Chris couldn't make it. So we'll be back next Friday. But that's the case. Like, how much more momentum would we need on the downside for us to just push us all the way down? I mean, we would need a lot, right? We would need a lot. And that's why it's unlikely, I think, we're going to see 32, 3,600 on the S&P because the earnings would have to justify that. The earnings did not justify being that bad of a market. They just didn't. Earnings objectively were really good. And Walmart and Target inventory earnings were not the best over the past couple of months, but that just means there's more inventory, which leads to the Cathie Wood thesis of inflation going down, which is good for tech. So, like, we should have a good shot. In 1 minute, we're going to have the market open. I don't have my cowbell, guys. It's downstairs, and I don't want to leave because I'm probably not going to make it in time. So, just imagine there's a cowbell here. I don't know how I left it. I was supposed to take it with me last week, and then I left it downstairs. We're going to talk about that. Gabe, what price do you think the NASDAQ will be when the S&P is at 4,500? That's a good question, Gabe. I would like to know your answer to that as well. What up, all? Quite the Christmas rally in July we had. Yeah, pretty much. Little Christmas rally in July. The bad Chinese economic trend will pull down the oil price inflation rapidly. It's a good point. That could happen. That could happen as well. We've got a Cleveland's Fed July CPI forecast at 3.2% annualized, which is slowest since January 21. That's also a good point, Sam. If that's the case, then that means this bad boy is peaking. Or hopefully peaking. But probably going to sell today, come back in a few weeks. Interesting, Chris. Chris says he's going to sell. All right, the market is open. Boom, 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 boom. Imagine a cowbell ringing right now because it's downstairs. All right, I want to go to Tesla. I want to see what Tesla happens. I want to see what happens with Tesla. 905. Tesla sustaining. Tesla's up. Tesla's up. Tesla's going up. The rest of the market's a little shitty, but Tesla's going up. Look at this. Wow. S&P 409. So pretty flat. Amazon flat. Apple flat. All these are red, but like they're barely red, so nothing too crazy. Roku down 30%, continuing to stay in 64. If you bought Roku over Palantir, good game. I hope you enjoy linear advertising, OTT innovation. Facebook. I have a video coming out on Facebook today. It's going to be interesting to talk about it. Facebook's at 157 right now. Facebook has some existential problems they're going with right now in regards to TikTok, so we're going to be able to talk about that. Selling now, if you're a trader, is not a bad idea. I would agree because, I mean, you're probably up on the month 10 to 12%. You might want to take that. Recession, no recession. Then you also hear recession maybe once away. Even the so-called experts don't know. Yes, and we're going to watch a couple of videos today on some so-called experts that think they know what's going on just to get some of those other perspectives. Tesla 907, so it's up. Let's go to Baba. Where's Baba right now? Baba's at 88. Okay, so Baba got to like 130, I think, a while back, and then rallied back down with the market. What is that, 100, and then it went down. Did they have earnings for this to go down this much? 100. I think we would have known if they had earnings. 188. Okay, so Google's at 113. Wejo at $1. By the way, I will be interviewing the CEO of Wejo, and that'll be coming out next week. So I will be talking to Richard Barlow, and they have some, new stuff and stuff and things they're doing in their company, Palantir SPAC investments. So definitely excited to talk to them. Apple at 161. Apple introduced something new today. They're selling some bonds, which are going to be very interesting. I'll pull up that news in a second, and we'll talk about that there. So overall, the market so far is really good. Things are going pretty well, and we are not seeing anything too bad in terms of how the market is rallying. Now, the question is if this is sustainable, right? I think that's what everyone wants to know. The question is this ability to make sense working? Now, Pelosi is in China, okay? Pelosi is in China, and I think we also have to talk about this. Why is she in China? I believe there's something she's doing, or she's in Taiwan. She's somewhere. Okay, let's pull up an article real quick. We do need to talk about this. This will affect stocks in a different way. Markets are going down, down, down. I see Palantir printing 12 by the end of August. Okay, let's look at what's going on with Pelosi. This is the headline, so we can get up to news on this. Okay. So China says military won't sit idly by if Pelosi visits Taiwan. China warned Monday that its military won't sit by idly if House Speaker Nancy Pelosi visits Taiwan. Her stature as the number 3 U.S. official means a trip would be highly sensitive. As to what measures, let's wait and see if she insists on the visit. The big picture, Li Jian's remarks come as local media outlets in Taiwan and CNN have reported that Pelosi may top in the self-governing island this week. Remember, China does not recognize Taiwan as an independent sovereign nation. That's why it's very sensitive. It's kind of like Russia not recognizing Ukraine as a sovereign nation, which is interesting. President Biden and military officials have warned against traveling to Taiwan. Yi warned Biden not to play with fire over the Democratic Island. Pelosi has plans to travel to Singapore, Malaysia, South Korea, and Japan on a congressional trip this week to reaffirm America's strong and unshakable commitment to our allies. Interesting. Okay, so if Pelosi does visit, she'd be the highest-ranking lawmaker to go to Taiwan since former Speaker Newt Gingrich made the trip in 1997. Interesting. Now, let me see this right here. The U.S. Department of Defense is working around the clock to develop a security plan for Pelosi and monitor any movement by China. The administration takes special care of their safety. Okay, so the Taiwan thing is interesting, right? Obviously, we're going to Taiwan to reinsure our commitment to Taiwan. It does have an impact on the geopolitical ramifications of stocks. Worst case scenario, China's like, screw this. We're like doing something crazy for Taiwan, or we're operating militarily because we don't want the United States to be able to recognize Taiwan. Obviously, that's not good for the supply chains in the United States. Now, is that going to happen? Is China really going to deal with that? Probably not. But we are going to ultimately see how the United States or how China would interact with that. Now, if that does happen in the context of Palantir, I think that would be very, very important, right? Because Palantir would optimize a lot of supply chains if they do get flipped upside overnight, since 95% of them are all in China. But we would interesting to see what happens. Nancy Pelosi kicks off her high-profile Asia trip with a Singapore visit. So she is going to Singapore.
Hey, businesses, you all
visited Singapore on Monday, their first official stop in a high-profile Asia that has attracted international attention over speculation she may visit Taiwan. So we don't know if she's visiting Taiwan, but she may. And I think ultimately she will choose not to, because if she does, it's going to cause some ruckus. But if she doesn't, then ultimately China won't have to get involved. If she does, then it would be, relatively not the best, I would say. And I think that's why Biden is warned that we probably shouldn't be able to do this. I bet she doesn't even go to Taiwan. That's what I think as well. She probably wouldn't go. Time to buy more Palantir. Looking for it under $10. That is the same for me. Now, here we go. I want to play a video about this tech rally being fake. And I'm probably going to do a video analyzing this a little bit later today. So we're going to listen to this person saying this is a classic bear market rally in tech. Let's listen to their opinion, get some contrarian views here, and potentially some FUD or potentially some reasonableness. Let's see what they have to take.
Question, which is going to be asked, no doubt, 5 million. Richard, let me be the first to ask a question, which is going to be asked, no doubt, 5 million times in the next couple of days. Was last month, particularly for big tech, just a bear market rally or the sign of a real and longer lasting turn upwards?
Well, Brian, we talked last week about getting away from this beats versus misses rhetoric and how simplistic that was. And so I think it's pretty clear to us that this was a classic bear market rally. If you look back at the dot-com boom, the bear market lasted about 860 days. In the global financial crisis, it lasted about 520 days, and we're about 200 days into this one. And I think what we saw last week with the decline in ad spend is that the professionals have voted. We're still going to keep orders going through the supply chain, maybe not so much for consumer products, but advertising where we can pare it back. We're going to reduce that. And this week we're going to hear from the consumer discretionary exposed companies, whether it's Uber or PayPal or Alibaba, reflecting Chinese consumer demand, and others, eBay, that are going to reflect what's happening with the consumer, which may than the professionals because it tends to lag by a few quarters.
Yeah, and we had Sony overnight in Japan, by the way, come out and give pretty disappointing profit numbers and guidance as well. That's a consumer story because they were talking about weakness in gaming. You've also had companies like Google, Alphabet, talking about, it's top story on CNBC right now, Richard, increasing productivity, companies talking about slowing hiring. What are they saying in between their corporate speak lines?
So I think you have to look at some of these companies, especially, and again, Brian, we've talked about how well managed big tech is relative to a lot of the smaller companies that don't have the adult supervision. They're founder-led companies. They might not have the same depth of resources, about the $300 billion of cash sitting on big tech balance sheets. And I think what those companies are telling you is they're happy to look through this cycle, this downturn, and prepare for the next one. I think you look at a company like Sony, it's trading at 1.4 times EV to sales. It's got a phenomenal spread of assets, and it's got that Japanese mentality that says we're happy to look on a 2 or to a 5-year plan. The same thing with Google, which is still going to spend $25 billion plus in CapEx this year and $25 billion plus in R&D. These companies are not pausing their businesses to hide under a rock for the next 18 months. They are pressing ahead, and I think you'll see a big difference in companies based on execution. I'll call out one other name where execution has been really disappointing, and that's Intel. And that's a name that we'd liked. We thought you'd have Pat Gelsinger in there to lead a turnaround, but the execution just hasn't been there yet. And I think that's going to really separate how the stocks perform. One other key point I'll mention, because you mentioned retail investors, realize that it takes professional investors several quarters to build positions in stocks. And what you're starting to see happen right now is people revaluing those assets that maybe they valued up to the moon when things looked great in November last year, and then they got too depressed about. But now we're starting to get a clearer view of which companies are going to make it through and we're still going to be talking about in the second half of 23 and in 2024.
But longer term, before we let you go, Richard, is there one name you just love for 10 years out? 10 years from now, not tomorrow, not 10 weeks, not 10 months, 10 years from now.
I mean, look, it's going to face some serious headwinds in the advertising business, but what company in the US has a larger data center estate or a bigger asset pool in AI than Google? So, it's a company that's spending a huge amount of R&D. Today, it talks about pausing or slowing down hiring, but it's not pulling back from spend. You'll see a lot of other companies that don't have the 100 billion plus of net cash.
All right, so we got that perspective. I had to end it a couple seconds early because Tesla, my goodness. What? Who has Tesla? Put it in the chat. Joel, I already know you have Tesla, so you don't have to brag about it. But if you've got Tesla, put it in the chat. You deserve to be happy today. So Joel, you can mention you have Tesla. Goodness gracious. Look at this. Look at this bad boy. 918, 920. My goodness. Sam says he got Tesla. He has Tesla. I will admit I don't have Tesla. I can't be happy right now. But I'm happy for you guys that do have Tesla. I have Tesla, 230 shares. Goodness. Joel, you must be up a lot because your average is like 400, right? So you're almost up 50% or 100%. Does it count if I said I wish I had Tesla? Wow. Yeah, if you've got Tesla, it's doing well. It's doing well. Now, the question, what's the market cap right now? Let's go to the market cap. I think this is going to be 900 billion, something like that. 959 billion. We are, let's call it $30 away, $20 away from getting to $1 trillion in market cap on Tesla. It's just a question of if you can justify that right now. Look, I think you can justify that if the macro is good. If the macro is not good, you can't. I think that's the argument. If the macro sucks, you cannot justify Tesla at $1 trillion. If the macro is good, they obviously have the growth and they have the ability to truly justify $1 trillion valuation. The Everything Money guys, I think we all know that channel. They said Tesla would go down to like 200, 300 before it ever comes back up. They were wrong, apparently. And I mean, I'm going to be interested to see their thesis because their stock, Intel, and I'm not shitting on them or anything. It's just, seems like they were wrong. I mean, it seems like the bottom was at 630, and we're going to see what happens. I strongly believe Tesla's going to 50. Okay, Joel, 50,000. I know you're excited, but 50 grand. I mean, why don't you own Tesla? Look, at 630, I still felt like it was a little scary to buy it. And I'm not saying I'm wrong or right on that, but I didn't know if the market was going to keep tanking. And because I didn't want to put I also don't have the most capital in the world to put at risk right now. I'm already down so much in the market. So I have to be very, very strategic with my investments. And I literally need money to survive. Right. So for me, I'm happy for everyone, but we have to see if this is going to be able to rally. And this is where we're going to go. They were wrong on so much stuff. I agree. They are. I mean, well, look, they ended up being wrong on this one, but I think we're going to have to see how Tesla. Now, remember, for Tesla to come back down to 630, it would have to lose $300 billion of market cap. That's not, I mean, it's going to be hard to see that happening. That means the S&P would have to go to 360. Like the S&P doesn't stay at 410 with Tesla at 600. That's just not that's literally just not possible. And Apple is $18 away from being $1 trillion, $3 trillion company. I mean, the way it's looking, it's like things are good, but we're going to see what happens. Let's go to Tom Lee. Our boy Tom has said that the bear market is over. Now, he's a perma bull, but let's at least see his logic for why this is happening and what he's saying. Let me pull it up in a second. Let's pull it up this week. Tom Lee market, bull market, bear market is over. Everyone in the chat is going crazy after the Tesla. Doug Gary comes in. Tom said inflation at 2%. Yeah, I don't. If that happens, that's going to be very interesting. If we see inflation below that much, let's actually look at that. Let's see him talk about that. I mean, that's I think his argument at the end of the day for why the bull market is happening. So let me share my screen there and let's hear him say that. This is the bull case for inflation under 2%, which means we will have a massive rally if this happens.
Tom, what a segue. Bryn saying she's not ready to call the bottom, but you certainly are.
Well, I mean, I think all of those comments actually are valid. We don't have visibility. And I do agree the first half has been a story of economic misery, but we know the market's character's changed. And I think that's the signal we have to pay attention to, that the stock market, I think, is starting to respond and anticipate a turning point in inflation. And that's very similar to August 82. That's what we wrote about to our clients today, that in 82, August 82, CPI was still 6%, still in the biggest recession since the Great Depression. Volcker wasn't even ready to give up the anti-inflation rhetoric until October, so not for another almost 8 weeks. But the stock market turned decisively. And I think one of the key points is that inflation-driven bear market was erased in 4 months. So you had almost a 3-year bear market that was completely recovered in 4 months. And I think that's what we have to be mindful of today, that I think companies had great earnings considering we had a huge inventory correction, a 10% rise in the dollar, and 6 months of negative GDP, and yet 70% of companies are beating, and actually positive earnings growth for the majority of companies. So I would just say I'd give performance of businesses an A+ in the face of that.
Tom, let's dig into your call just a bit. You see the S&P ending the year at 4,800, about a 15% rise from today. What's the catalyst? Because certainly inflation, at least at this point, has not died down. We're seeing PCE at a 40-year high, CPI at a 40-year high. What is the catalyst for this move?
Well, for our fund strat clients, we're sending an inflation dashboard that really looks at 3 types of inflation before it shows up in CPI, including the alternative data, commodities, and a lot of leading indicators. Those have all decisively rolled over. So I think when people talk about CPI being elevated, which is correct, that's the hard number, but it's already come down sharply. And in fact, by some measures, I'd actually say that leading indicators say for the next 6 months, month-over-month inflation will annualize under 2%. So, we could have half a year where people are going to start to say CPI is under 2. And what does that mean for multiples? I think that's what the 10-year and the 2 years have been telling us. And it would really be a very classic bear market move, a bear market end for the rally to be strong. I can't explain it, but I would suspect it has a lot to do with not only multiples expanding, but actually visibility improving. And if the dollar weakens and we got the tailwinds from lower gasoline and consumers, confidence improves, I just think all of this means stocks can recover pretty quickly. And I know people think markets were expensive at 4,800, but if earnings are 245 or 250 next year, it's not demanding to say markets can get to 4,800.
All right, Tom Lee with another call on inflation. I want to bring in the investment committee. Tom, I'm going to start you off nice and easy with Jim Liebenthal. He's bullish too, just not as bullish as you, but he's also.
All right, so let's hear what some of the other people have to say. Samuel in the chat says Tom Lee is a great example of how you can be a perma bull and yet still be right 90% of the time. I agree. It's better to be a Tom Lee versus a Jeremy Grantham, right? Because even though Jeremy Grantham was right that the market crashed, we went down 20% on the S&P, which is kind of average. It's not like the 70% 2008 level crash. Now, hopefully that doesn't. It's more like 50% 2008. Hopefully that doesn't happen, but nonetheless, that's what we are seeing.
So bullish, Jim.
Hey, good morning, Tom. I'm bullish. So if I'm saying you're more bullish than me, that's saying something. Here's my question to you. And I get your research and I love it. But when I hear the comparison to 1982, what I think of is the start of a 17-year bull market that was promoted by a lot of things, not only breaking inflation, but the Reagan years, deregulation, not only here, but also abroad. I want to make sure I'm understanding you. Are you saying we're embarking on some sort of regime like that of many, many years and many other powerful forces at work? Or is this just, hey, we're breaking inflation like it broke in 1982?
Jim, it's a little bit of both. I think that, the Volcker bear market, which was sort of the end of an inflation regime, but that was a 27% drawdown. We've had a 25%. And I think this is how investors need to appreciate it. When you're sort of breaking the inflation regime, markets can continue to recover to levels that are far faster than people expect. But you're right. I don't think we're going to be up 150% in 18 months like in 82. But I think the bull market that was in place because of the pandemic and the re-engineering and the millennials and the generational wealth transfer and the reshoring back to the US, I think those are all still intact. And I think that's what people forgot, that in this sort of 5 or 6 month bear market, investors got so gloomy, they forgot that there was a lot of underlying drivers that actually protect the economy, including the fact that U.S. households and corporates aren't even highly levered today. So I think the market is going to resume its rising trend, but it was interrupted by this huge inflation episode.
Okay, so there we go. We have Tom Lee basically saying inflation is coming down, and as a result of earnings being better and inflation coming down, there's no reason why we can't see a type of rally that's happening now. Is it going to be 1982 where inflation goes down massively? Maybe, maybe not. But things are decent. Hey, Amit, if the S&P 500 hits 4,800 again, wouldn't stocks be at a high P again, and there would be another sell-off? Well, so that's an interesting thing, right? Can we justify the market going back to where it started in the beginning of 2022, which is 4,800? Personally, I don't think we can. I really don't think we can. Because then, valuations are it would be interesting, right? Because if we get to 4,800, does Facebook go back to 320? Does Tesla go back to 1,200? I mean, does Tattooed Chef go back to 17? Like, I don't know. It's a really, maybe we get, it's hard to imagine the indices go up to all-time highs. NASDAQ was at like, what, 16,000 in November 2021, but individual stocks do not follow that, which is what we're seeing kind of today. So I think it's I think there's a little bit of a different world, right? In which we get higher multiples on stocks, but it's not at the crazy levels we saw before. Sam says, I mean, if this Cleveland Fed projections turn out right and continue to deaccelerate now against the tough comparisons versus last year, in theory, we may see a significant slowdown. That's a great point. That might actually happen as well. It's just a question of like seeing what happens and how does it play out. I also think the CPI print is important, man. Like, let me share my screen right now on Webull. This 9.1% needs to go down. Like, it just has to go down. And if it does not go down I think this whole thing is like incredibly fake, right? So like that inflation must go down. And I think it's a good chance it will go down. Tesla 924, by the way. And if it starts to go down month over month over month, I don't know if there's going to be an insane rally, but there's going to be a little bit of a nice, burst every time, along with the fact that the Fed is trying to actively counter with 75 bips. It doesn't seem like we have to go Paul Volcker style, which is good, right? And because we don't have to go Paul Volcker style so far, and we probably can't because those interest rates would explode the amount of debt we're paying, then it would just be a little bit too much. Open Door, I believe, is releasing earnings today. Correct me if I'm wrong. They're projected to do about $353 million in revenue, which is not bad. Up, I think, 100% or something from last year, a couple 100%. So we're going to see how that happens. Let's actually go to Tattooed Chef and let's look at some of those stocks. 623. So it's still stuck in so it's interesting because maybe if we have a bull rally, some of the stocks that didn't have the fundamentals that rallied for no reason back in 2021, they might not get back to their all-time highs. I mean, that's very possible. So Tattooed Chef might be in that club. I don't know too much about the fundamentals of it, but it might be in that world. ARK is up slightly, 0.18%, 45. Again, Roku got pretty hit. Roku's up a nice 3% right now at 67. Roku's got to get back to 254 for ARK's average to make any sense, or 163 or something. I think Coinbase was 254. Coinbase right now at 61 as well. So ARK would have started the year off at around 100, ending at 45 if it continues to go this way. Look, the ARK stocks have to go up. I mean, like, if we have a massive rally to 4,800 on the S&P and like ARK goes to like $60 or something, then ARK has massively underperformed the S&P as well. And if that's the case, then ARK's just not a great buy right now. Amit, what do you think of the lowest levels of unemployment and all the businesses looking to hire skilled and willing workers? This isn't like the past. Work from home is a thing. Well, I agree with this. And this is another reason why there's a disconnect between Main Street and Wall Street. Wall Street says the S&P is down 20% for the year before this massive rally we just had over the past month, but there's 11 million jobs open. The markets can't be down that much and there's jobs open because there has to be a disconnect. Eventually companies that are the market have to stop hiring people or have wage freezes or, like do a lot of bad things for individual people in order to protect their share prices if the market is going down that much. That's where we get into a great recession. But if there's a disconnect where there's millions of jobs and we need more employers and things are getting more distributed and work from home is happening, but the market still sucks, that's where it's a really hard way to justify what's going on. And that's why I think we've been in a flat space or just like a weird space over the past couple months. If the market's rallying and we do have job openings, then things are starting to make more sense, essentially. But we're going to see. Tesla's going up again. Let's go to Tesla. Where are we going? Oh my gosh, 933. Goodness. What is there any news on Tesla, or is this just like a fun little rally? I personally, I wouldn't buy Tesla today. That's my, I would not buy Tesla today. Out of all days, you should be happy if you bought it before this run. I wouldn't buy it currently. NASDAQ at 12,000, 12,404. Remember, it was at 1055. So June 16th seems to have been the bottom so far. 10,565, 10,565. Now we're at 12,426. All right. I mean, shit. That's what we're doing. That's what we're doing. Costco. Wow. Costco. Look at this. What is this? I didn't even know Costco got past 500. It was at 400 last time I was looking at Costco. Hold on. Let's look at costs. 406 right here in May 23rd. And yeah, it was at 460 in June. Okay, I haven't looked at Costco in a while. Wow. Costco's climbed up really well as well. This is a rally. This is not a bad rally. This is not a bad rally at all. I guess I'll short Tesla. I wouldn't short Tesla either, but I wouldn't buy it necessarily right now. Zim, this is one of Gabe's stocks. $49. It's a shipping stock. So Gabe is doing a trade on this. He's in my Patreon and my Discord, and we talk about this one a lot. He has a call that it's going to go to $59, and so you would make $10 on it if you were to buy it right now. August 4th, Tesla shareholder meeting, approved stock split 3-for-1. Yeah, so 900 is going to become 300 in around August 4th. So in a couple of days. Tesla. Amit leaves for 1 week and the market rallies. Yeah, maybe that's what I should do, guys. I should leave for 1 week every time so Tesla rallies. That's what we should be able to do. Goodness, this is just amazing, man. This is a hell of a rally. Let's go to TQQ. This is Chris's favorite. TQQ is up 33. Let's go to the regular QQQ. What's up? 305, 316. QQQ 371 back in March, and then 403 back in the beginning of the year, right? 408 on November 2021. That was the high for everything. So QQQ right back. QQQ was at 269. So if you played the index on 269 or 300 on the, or 380 on the S&P, you're up. You're up a bit. You were definitely up. So far today, we're having a good market rally. That's what's happening today. Market's going up. Things are going pretty well. And ultimately, this is how, things are happening. Let's go to NEO real quick. Let me check on NEO. Let's see how NEO is doing. NEO's at $20, up 5%. Okay, so the things I'm going to be looking for going forward is ultimately what happens to inflation. And I think we're going to be getting day-to-day updates on that. We're going to be monitoring this China-Taiwan situation a lot as well. We're going to be seeing what happens to it as well. And we're going to be seeing how more companies release earnings. I mean, the biggest earnings that we have to get out of the way were out of the way. Facebook, Amazon, Google, Apple, they all knocked it out of the park. Even Facebook didn't do an amazing job, but like they still put up the numbers they needed to put up. Oil is at 94, probably helps convince people inflation is cooling. That's another big thing. I mean, oil prices have gone down a lot over the past couple of weeks, even in my sector. I mean, I saw it go from 490 back down to 420, which is not too bad as well. So I don't think it's, the worst thing in the world. Costco PE ratio is 43, higher than Apple. Wow. So Costco's an interesting one to check out, given how much it's higher than Apple as well. Palantir trying to run now. Let's check out Palantir before we end this. And 33. Okay, not bad. Earnings for Palantir, August 8th. I will likely be streaming it on this channel. Chris will probably be joining me, so that's going to be an interesting one to check out. And we are going to be seeing how that happens. Shout out to 297 people being in the chat. We're going to be probably ending right now. Before we go, I did launch my new startup. If everyone could check that out, that would mean the world to me. It's in the description. If you go on your phone browser and type in get.audia.io, link is in the description. I'll put it here as well, get.audia.io, and download it. Let me know your thoughts. We did have a lot of bugs over the weekend. We're trying to fix those out. We raised about 60 grand in the past week, which is absolutely insane. I cannot believe we raised $60,000 in the matter of 48 hours. So for everyone who invested, thank you so much. The campaign is still live right now. But if you guys could check out the app, let me know your thoughts. Let me know your ideas on it. Let me know what you think about it. It's an audio platform to get new audio ideas discovered. Would mean the absolute world to me. So thank you so much. Tesla just nosedived. Wait a second. Did Tesla nosedive? Let's check it out before we end the stream. 931. That's not crazy. It was a 933. Not a 931. The fact that it's up from 851 is just absolutely insane. So we're going to be able to see. Mad respect, man. Thank you guys so much. What kind of startup is this? It's an audio startup. I think we're trying to become the YouTube of audio for a sense. So you guys can check it out and sort of see what we've created. Hold on. I'm getting a call. We're getting a call by our boy. Yo, I'm live streaming right now. You're live on speaker.
Can you go to Twitter and you on Twitter, on my page, you will find a video I just uploaded with a 20-second clip. I guarantee you it's pretty epic. It's an 11-second clip.
Okay, I'm doing that right now.
Trust me. I was recording a video and I was trying to say, hey, it's going to be epic. Get your popcorn and let's get started with the video or some bullshit like this. And what came out was it was very, what did Freud say about it, man? Maybe I need to change teams. I don't know.
Okay, I'm playing it right now. We're playing it right now.
This is just the start. Get some cock porn. Could get some cock porn.
Well, the stream has been demonetized. That's happened.
Bro, I'm gonna make a t-shirt with cock porn, but spelled COC porn.
Okay, yeah, that's a good shirt. It's not bad. It's not bad.
Porn.
You have a star on your shirt. If you just add porn to it, then you'd be in the running.
You think it will sell?
Yeah, maybe on our podcast it would sell.
For sure. So we're not doing the podcast today?
We're not. Yeah, I have the interview, bro. There's no way we're gonna be able to do it today. So tomorrow is probably the
Let's
best.
do it before. I'll get you in the right mood.
We would have to do it at
massage your ego.
We'd have to do it like 3 o'clock if we have to do it.
3 o'clock, we can do it.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Okay. If we can do it at 3, then we'll do it at 3.
No, I'm just kidding, bro. Let's just do it another day.
Yeah, let's just do it tomorrow. That's what I'm saying. It's gonna be a lot today. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, enjoy your stream. Get some cock porn. Yo, I want to tell you something before I go, and for the few people who are listening to me. I've taken a lot of L's over the last few weeks, few months, and people like to rub my nose in it. That's okay. But now I just posted on Twitter, bro. I posted on May 26th the video. I just doubled my position in Tesla at $650.
Yeah.
I assure you, none of the haters is going to talk about that. They all enjoy fucking talking about Palantir and fucking Peloton. I just fucking make a killing on a Tesla call properly placed at 650, and nobody's gonna say a word about it. But I'm gonna enjoy it. I take my L's, I take my W's, bro. I'm fair.
No, a lot of people in my chat are so happy today about Tesla. This is the day for Tesla people to celebrate this one, and people should be giving respect.
Do you remember the video I posted that I'm doubling down on 650?
Yeah, and people said this would be your last time to buy at 800. They were coming at you, so it's a good buy.
No, but nobody. They're all gonna be fucking quiet as fuck now, bro. They're all gonna crawl out of their fucking holes like little cockroaches if the stock actually drops. Like predictable. Who cares, bro? Let's get it. Cock point. Later.
All right, talk later. Bye. So yeah, if you have Tesla, you should be very, very happy. I mean, it's done phenomenally well today, so I hope you guys are doing well. Is the app only on Android? No, it's on the App Store. Type in AUDEA on the App Store. That link I gave you, though, get.audia.io, if you click it on your iPhone, it takes you automatically to the App Store. That's the reason we have that specific link. So check it out on the App Store. If you guys want to know the pitch, can you explain your startup in 3 sentences or less? I think it's important to communicate the idea very well at the bat. We are trying to do what YouTube did for video for audio. YouTube made video discoverable, searchable, recommendable. We are trying to do that for audio, create a centralized search engine in which audio creators can get their ideas discovered in audio format, and which you don't have to rely on podcasting RSS feeds like Spotify and Apple, where you actually have algorithmic curation of content. So the curation of audio ideas in one centralized platform is what we're trying to build. And we raised about $260,000. People really believe in the idea. It could be pretty big. And so I would just, love if anyone could check it out and see what we're ultimately trying to do. Think YouTube of audio. That's basically what we are trying to build. Tom the GOAT, never bet against Elon and the Tesla team. It's hard to bet against Elon, man. It's hard to bet against Elon. Kathy slowed Tesla on Friday for more Roku. She did do that. Kathy bought 350,000 shares of Roku, and they basically, said that Roku's still going to the moon and it's fine. Can you invest from Europe? Yes, you can invest from anywhere. The link to invest is wefunder.com/Audia. You can invest for as little as $100, and you guys can check it out. All right, everybody. Thank you so much. We are going to be probably late night stock streaming today, 10 p.m. So mark that on your calendars. That's where I get more natural, and we just talk about life and stuff. But we also talk about stocks. We're going to see how the stock market does for the rest of the day, and we're going to see how it ends up happening. But that is it for me today. Thank you guys so much for joining. I appreciate everyone who was here today. Tesla Bulls, I'm very happy for you guys. Enjoy today. And let's see if we can keep this bull market going, because if we can, things are going to get really, really fun overall in the market. Yeah, except Canada. Freaking Canada banned the stupid. It's insane, bro. Canada was like, yeah, we don't want people. It's crazy, bro. BB kisses Amit. My grandma says hi. Samuel, please tell your grandmother I say hi and that she's got an amazing grandson. And he's going to do some awesome things one day. All right, guys. Thank you so much for joining. I will see you later today.